It's Sunday, the 23rd of July, and this is your Round 19 review. Hey everyone, my name is Ben Reeve. I am the host of The Hoop Show, and as you can see, I'm rocking it solo this Sunday night. Paul James, my normal regular co-host, has other parental responsibilities, but I think it's because the Cats lost and he can't front up. That's my feel for it anyway. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments, but he's not here, so it's just me. So it might be a slightly shorter episode, but that's okay. And it's hard. I get it. It's hard fronting up to these types of things when your team has a loss. And goodness me, it wasn't a great game, was it? Well, that first half, maybe first three quarters wasn't fantastic. The Cats, for those that maybe haven't caught up on the results and you're actually watching this for some weird reason before you watch the game, the Cats had a loss by 11 points to the Brisbane Lions at the GABBA twilight game on Saturday evening, afternoon, whatever. Not a great first half. I think we were at one stage we were looking like we weren't going to score a goal in the whole first half, and they were looking at the record book saying it was 1977 or something like that since the last time that happened to Geelong. But thankfully we got a goal late, and thankfully things started to get a little bit better in the second half. But the damage was done. The Cats were down by 37 points in that third quarter at some stage. And it would have taken an absolute miracle to find a way to win that one interstate against a really good team. Unfortunately, the damage was done. What more can you say? I'm just looking at the scores at the moment. Oh, it looked like North Melbourne was going to win against St Kilda. I think we might be sliding down the ladder a little bit. We could be 7th or 8th by the end of this round, depending on how some results go. I'm tracking this one. I'll let you know during this coverage how it's all going. Hopefully North hang on and win that one. And the Saints, if you're a Saints fan watching this, clearly I want Geelong to be higher up the ladder. And that's the only reason I want you to lose. But, it is what it is. I think North just missed another shot at goal. But anyway, it's the Hoop Show, as I said off the top. Thank you for joining me. If you haven't already, please think about subscribing to the channel. We're building, and we want you on board as we approach the 1,000 subscriber mark. So if you've already subscribed to the channel, and many of you have, thank you very much for your patronage over this time. I think we're approaching the end of our second year on this show, and we're really hoping to keep growing and take it forward, get even bigger and better next year over the next couple of years. So thank you for supporting the show so far. But let's talk a little bit about the game. As I said, one goal in the first half, pretty average really. We lost the game by 11 points, and we had no right to win the game. Let's just say that right off the top. No right to win the game. However, we did kick 2 posters. And I thought, maybe if only. But there's so many what ifs and if onlys. You're not going to win a game. We got with 11 points. We looked like we were making a charge and we were going to get close, and then Brisbane got another goal on the board, and they kept us at arm's length pretty much. And credit to them. They nearly choked it. They choked it the week before against Melbourne. And nearly choked it again, but this time around I think they learned a few lessons, and they absolutely did what they needed to do. I tell you what they did do. They absolutely killed us in clearances. Absolutely killed us in clearances. We won the hit-outs by a fair margin, but goodness me, did we lose the hit-outs. I think it was like negative 27 or something like that in the hit-outs. Every time Reece Stanley seemed to get a hit-out, it went to a Brisbane player. So I don't know if it was them rucking to Reece, or maybe Reece not directing his hit-outs well enough. I know there's a bit of hate on Twitter. Well, not hate's too strong. But a lot of people are not that over-enamoured with Reece's game. A couple of commentators were saying the same thing as well. A few people on there, I think 1 or 2 on the footy shows this morning were having a crack at him. I don't think it was all that bad. I don't know. Let me know what you think. But I don't think it was all that bad. He had a go. He probably didn't. There was a couple of times where he got caught out a little bit, and maybe should have been manning up a bit better. But it is what it is. I didn't think he was all that bad, but I think the whole midfield really just let themselves down. A couple of standouts for me. I thought Dangerfield did quite well, and maybe Jack Bowes was okay. I think the game really, if it wasn't for Tom Stewart. Tom Stewart, here he is. Say hi, Tom. Are you looking, Tom? There you go. If it wasn't for good old Tom Stewart, then we'd have absolutely... You look at the camera, Tom. There you go. People that... There you go. anyone who might be listening to this has got no idea what I'm talking about. I have a little Tom Stewart bobblehead that usually sits behind me somewhere well over there, but because Tom played so well on the weekend, I thought I'd bring, and I'm rocking it solo. I thought I'll bring Tom on to be my unanimate co-host for today. There you go. You sit there, Tom, and you just help me through. I guess it is a Geelong show, but I probably should take a little bit of time to just say I feel pretty shit that, apologies to any kids that might be watching, but yeah, Will Ashcroft, young fella, second pick in the draft, father-son, did his knee, and it was confirmed today that it's an ACL, so it looks like he might be missing for a fair chunk of next year, which is a real shame, and clearly missing the finals run. Brisbane very, very likely to finish top 4, probably a chance at a likely to get a prelim, maybe a shot at a grand final. Unlikely still, because I think there's 2 standout teams this year in Collingwood and Port Adelaide, but yeah, it's a bit of a shame for him. He's going to miss a fair chunk of next year as well, and we'll see how he goes. It was one of those incidents that nothing really happened. Wasn't much contact. It just sort of went on him, and yeah, it's a real worry. Those ones when you see that happen, you think it doesn't take much for that to happen. And what if it happens again? And you just feel like it will with those types of players. So hopefully that's not going to define his career as in a series of knee injuries over the journey. But main thing is hopefully he recovers pretty well and he's good to go. And hopefully it's one of those ones where you can get back early, but maybe you don't want to take the risk with such a young generational talent. You want to just do it the right way. Who knows? What I didn't like, there's a lot of things I didn't like about the game. But as I mentioned, I think Danger was one of our better players, but he, like always, they're managing his loads quite significantly. And yet again, he was well down the list, apart from the subs, the one who went off, and Bruin and Oisin Mullen that came on. Paddy's right down the bottom again in terms of time on ground. So maybe there's no choice. Maybe that's just the way Paddy's body is at the moment. Maybe they're just trying to do the smart thing and keep him for finals. But you got your best players, and they're not. We're not playing them. It's 4 points that have just gone begging, unfortunately, and maybe he wouldn't have made the difference. But him and I think Adkins, the other one, the 2 bulls in the midfield. And we weren't getting clearances. You think those 2 guys are probably our best at getting clearances, and they're playing the least amount of minutes, as I said, apart from the subs. So I get the reasons behind it. Maybe not so much with Atkins. I think why is he only playing 69% of game time? The Cats have done that with Paddy a lot, so it's not the first time they've played him for 2/3 of a game or 55% of the game, and they're pretty much giving him half a game these days, just trying to get him through to September, where you'd think his loads would increase significantly. But I would have loved to have seen Paddy Dangerfield out there for at least 75% of game time, and to see what damage that would have done as the captain of the club as well, to have him sit on the bench for half the time. I don't know. It doesn't feel right to me. It doesn't feel right the way Jezza at the moment. Yeah, he kicked 3 goals, and I'll talk about that in a sec, but he looks lost. And I don't know what it is. I mean, clearly you get knocked on the head, and probably at the end of the year he'll say, "Yeah, I was never quite right, and something felt a bit off." But I don't know. Can be a bit of a liability at times. He did get a couple of goals and that were absolute gimmies, absolute gift goals, kicked intercepted where they just kicked it straight to him. I'm like, oh, thank you very much. But he didn't kick one. I think he got one on the third and final goal he got on his own steam. But those 2, I'm like, oh yeah. So I was thinking about my votes, and I won't go through them just yet. But I can't give. Normally I'd give low scoring games. Someone kicks 3 goals, I'm probably giving them votes, but just the nature of it, and just that first half, just he was completely lost. And I feel so bad for the guy, because we want him to be good, and we get back to maybe not the best player in the game, which he was being talked up about 7 weeks ago. He's far from that now. He's really, really gone backwards, and maybe we're being too harsh on him when Tommy Hawkins didn't kick a goal either. So I think he didn't kick, maybe kick one. I have to double check that. But Tommy looked a bit out of sorts, maybe not leading as much as what fans would want him to be, just sort of waiting for the ball to be kicked on top of his head and use his strength. But maybe another one who's just trying to get his body to September potentially. So Look, we don't know. We don't know. Unless you're in the club, you just don't know these things. We're just observers and we're only speculating on all this sort of stuff. But he does look a little bit lost. I tell you who doesn't look lost, though, Tom Stewart. You can put him anywhere. We threw him in the middle this game, and he dominated. I don't think he stayed in the middle the whole game, but at the ball ups or the bounces, he was there, and I think he went back into the back line after that. But yeah, he's good. He's fantastic. He's an absolute star. He's probably tracking to win another Cargie Greaves medal. I would have had him for a few more, really. I thought he's been one of our best players, if not our best player, quite easily. I think there was one year where maybe Blitzarves won it, which I thought was a bit unfair. That I thought Stewart was clearly our best player one year. Maybe going back 4 or 5 years now, but unfortunately, yes. So I think he's going to grind. Will probably be the one that might shake it a little bit. But it looks like it's Tom Stewart's to lose at this point in time. So we'll see on that one. Just go through some stats real quick. So I'll stay on Stewart for a sec. Yeah, 25 touches, 9 marks, 5 tackles. So a pretty standard Tom Stewart type of game. Probably one of our players that really sort of stood up. Probably one of the two. I think the other was Dangerfield, really. 17 touches, a couple of goals, really big goals too, really important goals, and 6 inside 50. So Danger was terrific. Absolute captain's game. I just wish we saw a bit more of him out on the ground. And Duncan, 23 touches, 9 marks, and 4 inside 50s. It was a tough one. Like I put him in the. When I did the Twitter poll for the Roll of Honour, I put him in there just based on the stats. To the eye, though, I didn't think he was great at all. I think he was going back to that old safe, control style of footy. Every time you wanted the Cats to run, he was just holding up, and it's like, is he doing that deliberately, or is he just doesn't have the confidence to play on quickly, or maybe that's not his role? I don't know, but. Yeah, and combining with that and turning it over a few times, I'm probably being too harsh on the guy. I'm sure I am, and I'm sure a lot of people think his game was great. But maybe I just focus on the negatives and the odd turnover here and there, and I forget the fact that he pinpointed someone in traffic from 45. Yeah, a couple of really, really frustrating moments, which I'm sure he's frustrated about as well. But it is what it is. A few of the Brisbane standouts for me. Josh Dunkley coming back. He was great with 27 touches and 8 tackles and 7 clearances. A really good game from him on return. McCluggage, great as well. 26 touches. And probably his best game as a Lion, or best game in his career, is Archie. 23 disposals, 9 marks and a goal. He's just really damaging and caused us a bit of trouble all night long. So, yeah... Not a lot to talk about, especially with the Geelong players there. As I said, Stewart and Danger are probably the two that are going to get votes. Spoiler. And it's the third one that I struggle with the most. So what can you do? My votes. I'll get to the votes now. I will do a Twitter thing, but I'll do that as a separate video tomorrow. I'm going to keep this one a little bit shorter. I will get to all those tweets that people sent out commenting on the game, so I'll get to that. But just check out a separate video for that one, where I might maybe some more reflections on the game as well when I've had the weekend to think about it, or a little bit more time to think about it. So I've gone one. I'll start with 3. It's pretty obvious. Tom Stewart, 3 votes. Yay, very good. Tom Stewart, 3 votes. 2 votes for Sir Patrick Dangerfield. Terrific game. Just a hard guts type effort, just fantastic. I've gone Bowes for the 1 vote. I thought he had some moments were a little bit questionable, but overall I thought he was probably one of the players that can maybe walk away saying they played above themselves on the whole, I guess. But it was a very hard one to give the votes. I do have Paul's votes. He did send them through, so he's sort of participating in the show, but it's only sort of. Paul's gone similar. He's gone, Stewart 3, Danger 2, and he's given Isaac Smith a vote there as well. So probably Smith on those wings there, running up and down all day long. Just seemed to be covering a bit of territory, didn't he? So it was a bit of a coin flip, that one. He said Bowes or Smith. So he's gone that way. I've gone Bowes. It is what it is. All right. So next week, Fremantle. Now they had a bit of a bad loss against the Saints. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a sec. But Fremantle at GMHBA. Have you got a ticket? We have got 3 tickets, 2 tickets maybe. I'm not sure. Which means either Beck, my partner's going, and maybe one of the kids, or me and Beck are going and someone staying and looking after the kids, or I'm taking one of the kids. I don't know, but either way, one of us is going, or both of us are going. It is what it is. So, look, that's a Saturday afternoon game. I think it's mid-after one-ish or something like that. Might be slightly wrong. Freo. Freo not doing too well at the last month or so in footy, but aren't going that badly against us. They've won the last two against us. So most recently round 10 in Perth, where we lost by 29 points, I think it was. So we should be a little bit nervous, although Freo look like they're pretty much done. So I think their finals chances are gone. So does that mean they give it all up and they're not going to try? Who knows? It's a big trip. It's a 1 point game between St Kilda and North. Saints in front by a point. It's going to be a tough road for them. But I hope it's wet and soggy and we absolutely smash them. Even though, well, if I'm going to the game, I hope the conditions are quite dry. Who's going to go out? I think we'll bring back Gary Rowan. I think Gazza comes back in. Does Radicalea come in? I watched a bit of him in the VFL. Wasn't super impressed. Does Jed Buse, is he ready to come back yet? I don't know. Like, it seems to be this week by week thing that, oh no, he's not far off, and then it's another week he's not playing, and another week, and I don't know how many weeks it is now, but if he doesn't play this week, or does he come back through the twos? It gets to that point where you're starting to have some concerns. Well, I do anyway. So I think I'm going to say he'll play. Maybe there's been a medical report that'll prove me like I'm an idiot. But I'm going to say Rowan and Buse are in, and I'm going to say Oisin Mullen will just drop out from the sub role. And I think they might just take a precautionary approach with Tanner Bruin. I think he had some nose issues, but I think he should be fine. But they might just say, look, maybe have a rest, young fella, and we want to get some games into Rowan and Buse as well. So who knows? Maybe they'll rest someone else. Maybe Duncan's next in line, or they never rest Tommy Hawkins, do they? But who knows? Maybe he's due one. Maybe they'll give Jeremy Cameron another rest at some point. I don't know. Are they going to stick with the managing these players thing? Is it getting to that point where we don't have the luxury anymore of resting players? It's all in from this point onwards. From round 20, we've just got to go boom boom. 5 games to go. We pretty much have to win the majority of those games, if not 3 or 4 of them. I think we'd have to win. Wouldn't want to drop this one against Fremantle. That is for sure. I don't know. Look, quick walk around the grounds. Bulldogs on the Friday night defeated Essendon by 41 points. It was an absolute masterclass by the Bont. Fantastic. He's my favourite non-Geelong player. I love watching him go about it. He's just so skillful. I'd love him at the Cats. You'll never get him, but how good would it be if we had him in the hoops? That'd be fantastic. Richmond defeated Hawthorn by 1 point. Bloody Hawthorn choked it. We're actually cheering for Hawthorn, can you believe it, a little bit there. But, the end result, I'm always happy when Hawks lose by a point as well. I'm not going to lose any sleep over that. Carlton defeated the Eagles by 71 points. Big shocker there. The big one, though, Charlie Curnow, 10 goals. It's not the first time someone's kicked 10 goals on the Eagles this year. Good old Tex Walker did it as well, I think. So, who's next? The Eagles are a shocking team, aren't they? Now, Sydney and Fremantle, I spoke about this one. Freo lost this one. They're done. Sydney beat Freo by 29 points. The Swans are still alive and still a small chance of making the finals. There's a lot of teams around them that had reasonably good weekends. I guess Essendon probably one that would say they didn't, and us as well. And we'll see what happens with St Kilda, 2-point game with 2 minutes to go. By the time I finish this show, we'll probably have the result of that. GWS, a great win against Gold Coast. That's probably the final and the nail in the coffin for Gold Coast for 2023. It's a shame. Another year goes by and Gold Coast missed the finals. When will it happen? Maybe when Hardwick steps into the senior coaching role in a few weeks' time. Maybe. Or at the end of the year, whenever that may be. Melbourne got out of jail again, got the job done against Adelaide. A fast finishing Adelaide. Finished them off by 4 points. Adelaide just terrific in that fourth quarter there. Just came with a rush, but ultimately it wasn't enough. And as I've spoken about, St Kilda, they've come back and have hit the front. They're up by 2.5 minutes to go. I think my computer's frozen or it's a ball up or something like that, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed North win. They do a win, aren't they? Come on. What else is there? while I'm trying not to sneeze on camera. Joel Selwood's book launch. The club sent an email out to members a few days ago saying they're going to do a little bit of a book launch. I think it's this week or next week at the club. Had limited seats available, so I don't think it's the only place where Joel Selwood's doing a book launch. I think he's even doing one at Dimmicks in Warn Ponds Shopping Centre at some stage. So, if you're down at Warn Ponds, if you're living in Geelong, check that one out. He's doing a few of them, so no big deal there. So we'll get along to that. Looking forward to catching up with Johnny from the Chaps Chat Cats. He's going to be there, and a few other people I chat to on Twitter as well. So if you see me, say hi. Come say hi. Or don't, that's fine. But looking forward to getting down there and getting a book and getting it signed by Joel. And I don't know, my dad. I don't know if my dad still watches this show, but might be a good birthday present for Papa Reeve. Pardon me. All right, VFL. We touched on that. Mitch Nevitt was quite good. 28. We did lose. It was a horrible first quarter, but to the boys' credit, they came back really well in the last little bit. Nevitt, 28 touches. Toby Conway, the young ruckman, looked really good. I still don't think he'll play this year, unfortunately, unless we get decimated with injuries. But maybe next year, hopefully he stays injury-free over the pre-season. And for the rest of this year, we really need him to have a good crack at it. And Shannon Neal, 3 goals. So he's been quite productive. So it can look a little bit lost at times, but still bobs up and kicks the goal. So he's got a few scores on the board in the last few weeks. So he's been fantastic. Anyway, what's the result? A minute 43 to go. Goodness me, I'm going to have to I'm going to put KO on. Hang on a sec here. If you're still with me, I'm sure you don't mind. Maybe you're tuning out. But it is what it is. I've got to watch these last 2 minutes. It's I really want North Melbourne to somehow find a way, but you just know Saints are going to hold on somehow. They're going to find a way. I'll turn the sound down so we can't get in trouble with YouTube or anything like that. Oh, hang on. Here we go. Controversial decision. Is it touched? Is it not? They've given it a goal. I think this could be it if they put the score up. It's a goal to St Kilda. Is that game over? It's game over. There you go. I don't have to drag this show out for a little bit longer. It is what it is. All right, everyone. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, as I said earlier, please subscribe. Help us well. Firstly, we want to get to 800 subscribers. We're not too far away. It might help us if you shared the video as well. Don't forget, liking and commenting really, really helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you really care about the show and you want to support us, do all that sort of stuff. And also, and I haven't said it for a couple of weeks, a big thank you to our 2 Patreon members, the 2 Jareds. If you are a Jared and you would like to join as a Patreon member, or even if you're not a Jared, we do take Patreon supporters who aren't called Jared as well. Check us out on Patreon as well, or get in touch with me via the DMs on socials, and I'll let you know how to go about that. Thank you for watching, everyone. I shall say farewell, and until next time, go Cats. See you, everyone.